we spoke about him for a few minutes in that previous section. Let's kind of give it a full segment now, and I'm talking about His Excellency Turkey Al-Sheikh, who has spoken to fans of the Sweet Science on Reddit. He invited them to ask him some questions, and he gave some very, very good answers. I think that the thing that fight fans wanted to hear was the top of his wish list, Mr. Gareth Davies, and he said this is the top of his wish list. The 3 fights he would like to make: Tyson Fury versus Anthony Joshua, that could happen. Canelo versus Crawford, a lot of rumors about Crawford moving up to 168 if he gets past Madrimov, and Beterbiev versus David Benavidez. Those are his 3.
Well, all 3 are fantastic, and it makes you wonder whether that step aside scenario may come if Tyson Fury defeats Alexander Usyk with impunity and subjects him to a beating, which he may do. Maybe he's capable of it. I still think it'll be a very close chess match. Maybe they do give Usyk step aside in the 2-fight deal, and we do get Fury and Joshua next. That would be amazing if we did get that. I agree with it. Thank you very much, Your Excellency Turkey Al-Sheikh. Canelo and Terence Crawford. When Terence Crawford beat Errol Spence, I was one of the first out there screaming and shouting, even though I was shouted down, saying Terence Crawford now versus Saul Canelo Alvarez. Let's have the great Marvin Hagler, Sugar Ray Leonard fight. Let's have it. It could be that all over again. Canelo hunting, Crawford looking after himself and outboxing him. I still think Crawford wins that. I think he wins it.
Wow.
I do. I think he wins it. He's got so little mileage on the clock, although he is going to get old at some point during the fight. David Benavidez, man, what a style he's got. Obviously, we want to see him against Canelo, but him against Beterbiev, if Beterbiev beats Bivol, is another massive fight. Let's dream, because Turkey Al-Sheikh's dreaming and he can make it happen. What a super fan.
Yeah, what's interesting about a couple of those fights as well is, and you guys would probably be eagle-eyed to notice it as well, it includes PBC fighters, which, up until 2-3 weeks ago was a no-no. Obviously, Benavidez, PBC, Crawford, and Canelo. So it shows now that these fights are happening because PBC now have realized we need to get on board with this. There's a lot of money, there's a lot of eyeballs on this event. It'll be stupid for us to kind of be on the outside looking in when clearly this guy is just a fight fan that wants to make some big fights.
Well, you only need to look at what's happened between Eddie Hearn and Frank Warren and how I sat with both of them, actually. I did that last week. I didn't mention that in my running order. Obviously, we were both at the press conference for the 5 versus 5 and Beterbiev and Bivol, and I had time with both as well. Had an amazing time. When Frank Warren and Eddie Hearn sat with me on the Tuesday and a couple of others, they took turns to talk like they were a double act. It was like Morecambe and Wise together. They were brilliant together. They were like father and son in some ways. They might not forgive me for saying that, but they were. The mutual respect was there. They were talking each other up and in and out. You've sat there with both of them. They really do get on now. And the other promoters, this won't have been lost on them. And Al Heyman obviously, works away behind the shadows. He's not a public figure, but I have no doubt at all that he's been talking to Turkey Al-Sheikh's team, Al-Sheikh's team, and they've found common ground. And, he's worked very hard behind the scenes for many years now. Obviously, we know he came from the music industry, was incredibly successful. He's handling a very, very powerful, I think it's a hedge fund. He's an incredibly powerful and clever man, Al Heyman. And if he's really clever, like Len Blavatnik did with DAZN, with His Excellency Turkey Al-Sheikh, the owner of DAZN, Sir Len, they're working together. It's business, and it works.
How important is it, do you think, that he's talking to the fans, His Excellency? Obviously, I've been lucky enough to have sat down with him. You've spoken to him as well, but it's been mainly boxing figures speaking to him as opposed to just your general fight fan. I think it's good that he's actually spoke to fight fans. They've addressed some concerns like why no female boxing, smaller weight classes potentially as well. And he's answered all of those things. He said, look, we're looking at the female boxing side of things. We're going to introduce that, some smaller weight classes. I like the fact he's speaking to fans, listening to fans, and I think he's going to implement quite a lot of what the fans want to see.
If you my motto is don't explain, don't complain. But he's gone the other way completely, which is I'm going to get deeply involved with the fans. I'm going to let them air their grievances. I'm going to listen to what the fans want. He's doing it fighters first and fans, and that is the way to make yourself. He's already, for me, he's a legend in the sport already, a legend and a maverick genius in so many ways. And I've met many members of his team already, and I think we both have the privilege of going over there. And what they're doing in Saudi Arabia to make themselves not a petrochemical country anymore, but a modern, thriving, vibrant economy is quite extraordinary. And we've witnessed it firsthand, not just in the bubble, but outside the bubble. They're very smart. They want to give people what they want. People are very short-sighted on social media and troll incredibly. You and I don't really do it. You took a guy up on his disgusting comments the other day on social media related to you and I, and you're right to do that. But when you're listening to the fans, even the fact they're talking about a Wembley event between Warren and Hearn and potentially Anthony Joshua fighting the winner of Hrgovic and Dubois, it's amazing. It just shows that this person doesn't want to just keep it for themselves. They want to create a shift in the sport for everybody around the world. We'll be going everywhere, I think, in this modern era in the next 5, 6, 7 years, from Vegas to Los Angeles to Japan. You and I will be sitting in the Saitama Super Arena at some point soon with Naoya Inoue in a big fight as well, in my view.
Final one on this. I think they're two completely different people, but obviously Eddie came with a truckload of money and tried to conquer America, and he realized it was very, very difficult to do so. And the bridges were most certainly put up by the likes of Lou DiBella, Oscar, Top Rank, everyone. Do you think it will be easier for Turkey to break through at America? We know it's a completely different beast breaking through the big wigs over here.
He's not trying to conquer America. He's just going to put events on there and he's going to make the big fights happen. Eddie Hearn's got the investment 5 years ago, 6 years ago, of $1 billion of Perform, the company, of DAZN's money to put on major events. He did half a dozen Canelo events that were very successful. Yep. He's growing. He's seeding everywhere around the world. He's growing young fighters. He's learning all the time. He's getting better at operating with people. He's just been given the opportunity to make Deontay Wilder his team captain in the 5x5. Shelley Finkel, Deontay Wilder, and Eddie Hearn all in the same 5 square meters the other day. I loved it. Crazy. Little hug with Shelley, who I've known for 30 years, going back to the Mike Tyson days. It's amazing. And they shouldn't be at arm's length. It shouldn't have been the case that Eddie Hearn and Frank Warren never sat around a table for 14 years. This is not the way you do business with the world. This is a global sport. Great things are happening. Get ready for change and embrace it. I think it's amazing.
I think it's fantastic, and long may it continue, because, again, removing the fact that we work in the sport, we're fans of the sport first and foremost, and these are dream fights that happen in that I couldn't really dream of. And hearing some of those super fights, Canelo Crawford, Benavidez versus Beterbiev, AJ Fury, and many, many more, I think it's a good time for boxing.